Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmaya Shri Gurave Namaha. We left off at Yama Niyama. Okay. Yeah. So I'll read this statement again. Very relevant for us. Yama means adopting practices helpful for spiritual advancement, such as bathing thrice daily in sacred rivers and practicing contentment and introspection. I've been thinking about this statement. I did take bath once in the river yesterday. One thing I wanted to say about the bathing in the sacred river is that the bathing in the sacred river represents our willingness to let go. Because we are carrying this baggage, like those of you who were there yesterday in the Krishna connection, also we spoke about letting go, giving up certain things which are unfavorable for our spiritual life. So bathing in river represents our willingness for Ganga Devi or Yamuna Devi or Jalangi Devi to take away those baggage that we're carrying, physical, mental, emotional, psychological. It is stated in several scriptures and also scientifically that bathing in like holy rivers, it actually keeps people healthy. Like those people who go every day bathing in the Ganges River, even in the cold, etc., they just have a stronger immunity. They just have a sense of their bodies don't get attacked by diseases easily. One of the other reasons is also it's a psychic cleanse that happens. The holy rivers have the potency to cleanse even physically. Like the scientists did a research about Ganga. They actually took because Ganges water is materialistic point of view, extremely contaminated. People put all their sewers and they connect all their factory wastes and what not. They float away dead bodies of humans and animals in it. And it's like, oh my God, gruesome to think about the things that people do to the Ganges River. And so the scientists said, hey, come on, how can that be so sanctified and purified and all that? So they did a research about these Ganga waters, and they actually found that it has the Ganga itself has the potency to kill all the germs, to kill all the contaminated things. They were just amazed. They were putting bacteria and viruses, and Ganga just had that power to regenerate herself. So these things are not to be underestimated. These are holy rivers are persons. They are devotees who take the form of a river. So whenever we think of Ganga, this is the potency of these rivers. They are manifest. So when you're taking bath every day, my Guru Maharaj also says, and my grandmother was telling me recently this, wherever you are, like my grandmother does that. She's in America, but she's like, I'm taking Ganga Snan every day, because you just invoke Gange Chayamuni Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jale Sannidhim Kuru. So you invite all these holy rivers who have the potency to cleanse us, the potency to let go of our past sins, to let go of our samskaras of unnecessary baggage, to let go of our desires that are not favorable for Krishna consciousness, like that. So every morning when you're taking shower, you go under the shower or whatever bucket of water, when you're taking it, you let go of every obstacle, physical, mental, emotional, psychological, psychic, spiritual, doesn't matter what, but willingness to let go with those waters that flow from your body. Also let those negative emotions, let that negative karma go away. When we do it like in the holy rivers, there's a kind of an automatic result. But if you do it consciously, even in your bathroom, you can get amazing benefits by just invoking Ganga Devi. My Guru Maharaj often says this, that when you're taking bath, you invoke, you ask Ganga, Ganga, Ganga. If you just say Ganga, 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 you're taking bath in Ganga. So this is a very practical advice. And for those of us who live in Mayapur, such as, we are very lucky. All right. By the way, even if we live in Mayapur, it's not very easy to go and take bath in the rivers. Then one should practice. If somebody likes to read from here, then one should practice.
Can I read?
Go ahead.
Then one should practice asana or sitting on sacred kusha grass covered by deerskin and cloth. After this comes pranayama, which means controlling the breath and chanting Om. Whenever the mind wanders away from the chanting, the yogi must bring it back to hearing and sacred syllable. This helps one rise to the first stage of transcendence, Brahm realization. By the above methods, the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, and it will be possible to practice pratyahara, detachment from the sense objects. Then, with the help of his intelligence, the yogi should systematically fix his mind on each of Vishnu's limbs, keeping it from staying to anything else. This is dharana. When concentration on Vishnu becomes uninterrupted, it is meditation or dhyana. By such contemplation, the yogi ceases to identify with the material body and mind and experiences his spiritual nature. This last stage of Ashtag is called Samadhi. Sukadev explained that the mind is always troubled by passion and ignorance, which respectively cause distraction and confusion. By practicing dharana, the influence of these two material modes will stop. The yogi will then become peaceful and develop clear spiritual vision. He added, those yogis who meditate on Vishnu during the stage of dharana very quickly progress to the transcendental platform and serve him in full devotion. Parikshit said, I feel fortunate that from the beginning of my life I was attached to Krishna. However, I am confused how a yogi who believes spirit in formless and all-pervading can practice dharana as you recommend. Please explain in detail how such a mystic should concentrate on the Lord and thus become purified of all mental contamination.
Can we pause there?
1.23.
Yeah. See, Parikshit's question is about becoming mentally purified, meaning how to become purified of all mental contamination. We are carrying a lot of mental contamination, you see. Most of the times, Krishna consciousness is very easy, but because of this mental contamination that we are hanging on to all these self-defeating beliefs, they are called. The self-defeating beliefs keep us what we are made to believe, what we are giving ourselves to believe. This material world is filled with unnecessary and non-beneficial mental belief systems, starting from television to what kind of food we are taking to it's all creating, of course, food is also physical contamination, but there is a lot of mental contamination with all these advertisements that we watch, all these television that we watch. It puts us in a state of numbness to spiritual truth. What he actually says here, let me just go back to that statement. Please explain in detail how, he's even speaking of a mystic, because the mystic people are contaminated by, even higher truths can be contaminated. For example, when we don't understand that Krishna is supreme, all mental concoctions and this and logic and that, and speaking about this kind of yoga and that kind of yoga, but it's like zeros without the number, without Krishna prema, without surrender to Krishna, without honesty and vulnerability with Krishna. So yeah, I like this statement here. It's important. mental contamination. So we should focus on that. All the mental contaminations. For us, it's a lower level of mental contamination, but still it's an obstacle. One of the, Krishna doesn't love me. If I do this, Krishna will stop loving me. That's a mental contamination. I'm not good enough. I'm, feeling ourselves with guilt and shame. That's also mental emotional contamination. So for us, it's a very lower level, basic level, but still it's a contamination. So today, let us pray to the lotus feet of Shri Nrsimhadev to remove this mental contaminations or mental belief systems that are stopping us from advancing spiritually and stopping us from being service to the Lord and his devotees. Dear Krishna, today I'm willing that you take away all my mental contamination, all my emotional contamination, and cleanse my mind and cleanse my heart so that you can preside there and I can be led by you, not by self-will, not by mental concoctions, but by your will. Hey, please continue, Rasastali, Mataji.
Okay. Sukadeva explained that the mind is always troubled by passion and ignorance, which respectively cause distraction and confusion.
Where
By
are you supposed to be here from here, no? Shukadeva replied.
Okay. Second. Shukadeva replied, after perfecting asana, pranayama, and pratyahara, such a yogi should engage in dharana by fixing his mind on the Lord's Virat Rupa, or universal form. The Virat Rupa is the entire phenomenal universe comprising all things past, present, and future. This was the form Krishna showed your grandfather Arjuna at Kurukshetra. Parikshit looked confused. Was the universe God's form? Sukadeva explained. Just as the individual soul inhabit their material bodies, the Lord inhabits the cosmos covered by 7 layers of elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, and Mahatattva. Parikshit remained doubtful. How could one become purified by meditating on the material universe? Parikshit's eyes Understanding his mind, Sukadeva said, the cosmos is the Lord's energy. Since he is absolute, his energies are not different from him. Thus, even meditating on his impersonal cosmic feature, imagining it to be him, can help the conditioned soul to indirectly associate with the Lord. This will gradually free him from the impurities in the heart which impede realization of Krishna's spiritual form. Parikshit's eyes filled with tears as he thought of Krishna's compassion on the fallen souls. He even helps those who deny him. Desiring the good of all such persons present, Parikshit asked Sukadeva to give detailed instructions how to meditate on the Virat Rupa. Sukadeva replied, self-realized souls say that the planets known as Patala constitute the souls of the universal Lord's feet and his.
Okay, let's pause here. This is very beautiful. Cosmos is Lord's energy. And see, since he is absolute, his energies are non-different from him. Thus, even meditating on his impersonal cosmic feature, imagining it to be him, can help the conditioned soul to indirectly associate with the Lord. This will gradually purify him from impurities in the heart, which impede realization of Krishna's spiritual form. This is our divine father. This is our intelligent father who knows how to, how to find us. You remember we have been discussing about we are lost, and Krishna speaks 18 chapters of Gita to find us. Krishna sends Bhagavatam to find us. We are lost in this world, and he's like, Those who are not taking shelter of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita directly, no problem. I've got the cosmic universe. You focus on that and purify your hearts. The impurities of impersonal understanding, the impurities of mental concoction, and whatnot. And you see Parikshit Maharaj gets emotional thinking of how Krishna is so fortunate. So we are all children of God. Krishna loves us. And our only prayer should be, Krishna, please help me become the best version of myself that you can love. Krishna loves us always. But if we become the best version of ourselves, we will be able to believe that more. And it's a great service to Krishna, because believing in Krishna, trusting Krishna, it gives him joy, because otherwise we're kicking and screaming and pulling our hair out, rolling on the ground. What is happening? We're like kids screaming, and Krishna is like, poor kid, doesn't understand me. I'm trying to do good. So Parikshit immediately got that point. Krishna is so compassionate. He even, this is the point here, he even helps those who deny him. So if you're wondering, I never asked for this kind of difficulty, why is Krishna giving me? Because we're denying his help, he's still helping us. This comes in Mahabharata, when Uddhava, actually Bhagavatam, 11th canto, when Uddhava asks Krishna, come on, you're supposed to be Apat Bandhava, you're supposed to help people who are in distress, even without them asking. Why didn't you help the Pandavas when they were losing everything in the game of dice? Why you didn't go and help? And then Krishna says, I was waiting that they're going to call me. I can't interfere. I have to give freedom to their free will also. So there is a beautiful conversation there. Krishna is both. Like you may say, oh, he's forcing all the time. No, he also gives us free will. He doesn't force us into situations unless it's really bad for us. So there is no point of freaking out, because in either way, Krishna has got us. Okay, any questions on this point? This is a very important point here. He even helps those who deny him. But of course, he's not going to try to help you if you don't want his help and you keep him waiting at the door like Yudhishthira did, He didn't let Krishna in. He was never calling him. So, Yudhishthira was thinking, I've got it. I'll fix it. So it was hard for Krishna to interfere in that, because Krishna gives us free will. And he respects, especially when we become devotees, he values what we desire. And even if we are not desiring him, he's like, fine, have your way. Want to gamble away everything? No, try that also, my dear child. But I'm here for you when you want. I often had a problem. Why does Krishna let us go and space out and make mistakes? I had a problem with that. Why he lets us mess up. But that's his mercy. Free will. Somebody was saying something. We last Manjari.
Yeah, I also liked he even helps those who deny him. My realization was, even though impersonalists don't deny in his existence, he arranges for them to come to him.
Yeah.
That's his mercy. That's why Parikshita is filled with tears.
So
that was
true.
touching to me.
Yeah.
You use the word, right? Love sick. What is that? Love sick? Love sick. Yeah, you use that word, right? So it was so touching in this context.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I'm comparing this kind of people who deny him to people who deny his love. Like as devotees, sometimes we deny that Krishna loves us. We deny that Krishna considers me as precious, right? So I was going more like basic, even to devotees, there are blocks. Sometimes we deny, maybe not him, we know he's there, but we think of him as a punitive God who's there to punish us. And it's true that he does put us through certain difficult circumstances in life, which makes us realize that nobody else is my well-wisher, no knowledge, no power, no status is going to save my ass, So Krishna is very merciful in even small ways, and to say, So, I mean, okay. My point is this: if he helps those who deny him, and somehow or another make way for them to come. Imagine if you're believing in him and you have faith in him, how powerful he is to remove all our baggage and anarthas. That's my point. Think about it. Think about it. Thank you, Sanjay.
Powerful point. Thank you.
Vilas Manjari always brings me to the ground. Yeah, please continue. I think we should go further from here and go a little bit more, share a little bit more. Somebody else likes to read? Okay, Rasastali, please continue then.
Okay. Sukhdev replied, I have read this part, Patala consumes the souls.
The last
The
paragraph, Sukadev replied.
Okay. Sukadev replied, self-realized souls say that the planets known as Patala constitutes the souls fixed in their meditation. Please listen carefully. The yogi should see the gods headed by Indra as the Virat Rupa's arms. They should meditate on the directions as his ears and physical sound as his sense of hearing. When the yogi sees blazing fire, he should think it is the Lord's mouth. The Ashwini Kumara brothers are his nostrils, and all material fragrance is his sense of smell. Parikshit marveled at the mention of the Ashwini brothers. They were the god's physicians, expert at using the fragrance of herbs and plants to heal their patients. He realized that the source of their expertise was the Lord's nostrils. Learning that the fire is his mouth, explained by sacrificial oblations are made into the fire for Vishnu's pleasure. Sukadeva raised his hand to indicate the reddish evening sky. One should see the expanse of outer space as the Lord's eye socket. Pointing to the setting sun, he said, the sun, which gives us the ability to see, is his eyeball. When day passes into night and night again becomes day, this is the blinking of Vishnu's eyelids. Then pointing to the Ganges river, where several black spotted deer had come to drink, he added, on seeing or drinking water, he should meditate on how it comes from the Lord's palate, and all tastes come from his tongue. Parikshit said that he thought the god Varuna controlled water. Sukadeva said, Varuna receives his power from the Lord's palate. Even the highest personalities in the universe, like Brahma, obtain their power from mere movements of Vishnu's eyebrows. Parikshit marveled at Krishna's greatness. He realized that even the...
Okay, let's pause here. There's a beautiful bhajan. It says, Hala pushpa valligala valage Hari vyaptanendaritavage Ananda Ananda Matti Paramananda Anandana Kanda Voliye Yenandate Veda Vrinda. In that song, there's so many comparisons of remembering Krishna with everything that we see. So beautiful, right? You look at the colors of the sky, you look at the rainbow, and that's the dress of the Lord. And then you look at the sun, and those are the eye sockets of the Lord. And you look at the mind, and it's the mind of the moon, and it's the mind of the Lord. So there is nothing in this universe that cannot remind us of the Lord. I have a tamala tree in my garden, and the leaves of the tamala tree are so soft. If you touch it once, you'll want to keep touching it again and again. And the Shastras describe that Krishna's touch is like, Krishna's skin is like that. That's the feeling of Krishna's skin. And Krishna embraces somebody, it's like, imagine how soft and sweet, how amazingly comforting it is. And so Tamala leaves remind us of that. You look at the lotus and then you remember the lotus-eyed Krishna. You remember his lotus feet. You remember his lotus navel. So everything in this world is designed. Krishna is like designed it, like Vilas Manjari was saying, to make us somehow come to him. But then what is actually blocking us is our baggage and our anarthas blocking. That's it. Intrinsically, we are attracted. Yesterday in my deity room, we had offered like tulsi and flowers, and Gaurangi was here and she was playing with this sandalwood oil. And the whole house yesterday was smelling Kinjal ka mishra tulasi makaranda vayu. It was full like tulsi. I cut a lot of tulsi. I made like a kunj of tulsi for my deities. And then the whole house was like, especially the puja hall was smelling so heavenly. And I was just thinking, you see, even smells can remind you of Goloka. You can remind that this is how the spiritual world smelled like. Mixture of tulsi and mixture of sandalwood paste. It's like heavenly, it's like, it reminds us like. And then in the evening, we were walking to an apartment and it was smelling so bad because they had some sewer issues or something. And me and Gaurangi were looking at each other thinking, oh my goodness, what a contrast. It's like contrast between the material world and the spiritual world, I couldn't breathe. They were feeling so suffocated. So in the morning, we were able to smell spiritual things. And then Gaurangi was explaining to my Russian Mataji students here. She was explaining that, you know why we offer ghee lamps to the Lord? Because it's the best form of fire is produced from ghee. So we offer everything best to the Lord. So why we offer incense? Because it's the best form of perfume, like what do you call it? Like scent. So like that, we are thinking of the Lord all the time. We're looking at it like, if we look at bees, for example, we're thinking, oh my God, honey, that's the best form. It's the purest form to offer to Krishna in Abhishek. And then we look at the silkworms and we say, these guys create the best clothing for the Lord, just silk. We look at the cow, of course we remember Krishna. So there's nothing in this world that does not remind us of Krishna. And that reminds me of that squirrel. In India, squirrels have 3 marks on their back. And that's only the Indian squirrels. The Western squirrels don't have that. And that's because Lord Ramachandra had, let's say, re-established the fact about qualitative devotional service. When the squirrel wanted to help in building Setu Banda, the bridge between Lanka and India, the squirrel was bringing its own little stone. And then Hanuman was like, get out of my way, I have big things to carry. And then Ramchandra came and then he said, no, it's the same service. It's not big or small. So the Lord can manifest to us. And what to speak of circumstances? We can always see Krishna's hand if we want to. So it's just that willingness. Keep your door open. Okay, keep the door open so Krishna can actually enter our hearts, enter our minds. Vilas Manjari sent me one video. It's like a video about Jesus, and he says, it's not just about keeping your mind open, keeping your heart open. Not meaning, I like that so much, because keeping our mind open means we sit there and analyze, so maybe this is because this. Oh, maybe, we sit and analyze, what Krishna might be thinking, or what Krishna might be actually, what may be the logical reasons and analytical reasons for our life to be the way it is. That's not going to help us. What is going to help us is keeping our hearts open, keeping our hearts open for Krishna to transform us and inject that love and devotion that we can feel with others. Okay, any other questions here? Maybe we can conclude the reading today here somewhere. Let's see how many more is here. Oh, this is so beautiful. All this. See, the rivers are his veins. Oh, so nice. Okay, tomorrow we're going to study all this in detail. Yes, Vilas Manjari. Parikshit marveled at Krishna's greatness. He realized that Brahmana's power to curse must come from the Lord. The king felt comforted knowing that Krishna's acts are all good. See, this is practical application of a philosophical understanding. Everything comes from the Lord. So the Brahmana's power is a little boy, a little boy cursed him. Shringi, right? Shringi cursed him. And so he's like, that also, the power must come from the Lord. And then he felt, it's okay. It's Krishna's plan. Everything is good then. Vilas Manjari, you want to say something?
I remembered Dasaripada.
Yeah, tell me.
ಆದದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೆ ಆಯಿತು ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀಧರನ ಸೇವೆಗೆ ಸಾಧನ ಸಂಪತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಆದದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೆ ಆಯಿತು. Even the curse.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, it happened for good in service of Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything happens for good. I mean, if we are surrendered to the Lord, yes. The book got closed. Sorry, just give me a second. Maybe it's a sign that we should read tomorrow the rest. Everything happens for good. Is it like we stop, the book closes down and we say everything happens for good, let's go to sleep. Any questions about this? Everything happens, even the blade of grass doesn't move without the will of the Lord. I mean, I may have a intellectual conviction about this point. At the same time, when things are happening, there may be an intellectual acceptance that, yes, this is for my good, but still the triggers are there, but still there are some rejection or fear or sense of uncertainty. Like I want to be assured that even though things are like looking so uncertain and so scary, it's still like Krishna has a plan to fix it. He can fix it like that. It's sometimes difficult when we are in the middle of the situation, why it's not fair that this person is treating me this way. How can this be the Lord's mercy, But then it does take a little bit of that opening the heart to say, like recently, somebody refused to, I wanted to get a wedding done here, and they do the weddings here, but then some obstacles were coming and some different things were happening, and I was letting my ego get in the way. I was not able to see that maybe Krishna has a better plan. And then I figured out that pretty soon, like in a few hours, I found out that because of the storms, etc., I don't have a generator, and if the electricity goes off, and even if we do the wedding here in the place that I wanted to, things could actually go south. And then I was able to see, okay, even though it came as a rejection from a specific person in charge of the place where I wanted the wedding. And then I realized that Krishna has a hand. I can't see everything, but Krishna sees what's around the corner. We cannot see. But if I let my ego take control, then I may form resentment, and then I may form, they are saying no to me, right? It's a big, it's an ego thing. So I'm also wondering how to get rid of this ego thing in an effective way, because I've seen even older people very much in that blaming and shaming blaming others for everything that they're going through. I've seen a lot of people do that even in their older years. It's not that it's only for younger people. I've seen women in their 60s, 70s still complaining, lamenting, resenting, and taking things personally. I think it's a very tough game to consciously rise above that and have faith in Krishna, and to not give in to these anarthas of self-will. Self-will is about how I want to be treated, right? Like how to turn. It took me a few hours to sort out this rejection. It's very difficult to face rejection. How does this person say no to me? But Krishna knows how to set us in the right path. Any thoughts, realizations on this point? I'd like to hear from you all. Anything, like maybe some instance in your life that you were convinced that
Playing God from my blockage, playing God, like I recognize that I'm deeply conditioned to play God. That's one thing. Yeah, that's why it's hard for me to accept another God who is actually God, his plan. Yeah, wanting to be God, that's my problem.
Yeah, that's all our problem. Yeah, we don't have to play God.
Yeah, I had another point, but I forgot.
Oh, yeah, what you said, that brings up a good point from the previous page. When we are facing, say, anger, resentment, depression, Krishna is so kind that even through that we can remember him in different layers and levels, right? On the lowest level, we can actually remember, oh, Krishna, please take away this anger. Please take away this depression. I don't want it, right? And I mean, there is even lower than that. Like, for example, if somebody is hurting us, Amba, for example, from Mahabharata, she was hurting, and she went to great lengths to make sure that the person who she thought caused her pain, she went to great lengths to make sure that she can cause pain to that person. But she still tried to take shelter of Mahadev. Lord Shiva said, no, I don't approve such kind of Hina. Hina means low level of determination, such as I want to hurt the other person. He didn't support. But then she was really, really, really determined. And then Krishna used her determination at the right time to do that. But I'm just saying, if we want some material ambition, if we want money or something, Bhagavatam says that it's better to go to Krishna instead of going to some other demigod or do something else. Even then we can, like, if I'm feeling sense of lack of financial security, I can approach Krishna. Kamo akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharadi tivrena bhakti yogena. I continue my devotional service. I rely on my devotional service, but I say, Krishna, please, I want money. Please, Krishna, help me to make money. I know it's very low. It's like going to the prime minister or the prime minister of the country and asking him, please give me 10 rupees, sir. So, but still, it's better to go to Krishna than suffering. And what to speak of other emotions, negative emotions, like Krishna is giving us so many reminders to see him everywhere. Even our negative emotions. If I'm feeling sad, I can go to Krishna and say, please, Krishna, solve this sadness. I don't want to feel sad. Please resolve this problem of mine. I like to pray in this way. Please remove my difficulties so that the victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. So like I'm expressing to you all that my weaknesses, my ego gets in the way, thinking, how am I treated this way? Why they don't treat me with more respect? Or why don't they understand that I may not fight and I may not make a fuss about things? Like I was playing with a group of people, and then there was like some complaint, and I was like, come on, let us just do it. But I'm not a person who says that. Somebody else recently came and said they were lying basically on my face, but I couldn't call them out and say, come on, Mataji, you're lying. I couldn't do that. So I was just thinking, even that emotion, like maybe I just don't have the guts to call people out on when they try to fool me, or when they try to cheat me or something, or when they try to lie to me. I keep it, but then after some time that it gets into resentment, right? So I was asking Krishna to help me to work on that. What does it mean for me to work on that? Does it mean I have to speak it out? My grandmother would speak it out very cleverly. She'll just say, if somebody comes and says, oh, for 10 days the person has not come, she'll just say, oh, but 4 days ago I saw the person, I hope they are hale and healthy and the person didn't end up in prison. She'll say it out loud. But I don't have that. I don't want to hurt people, I don't want to make them feel bad. And then I'll stand there, become like an idiot sometime. But then internally I'm developing resentment, and then I'm not trusting that person. So as I'm telling you all these things, I want to face them. And then maybe in a few months, I will be able to tell you, you remember, I was telling you about this character defect, but Krishna helped me, and this is how I resolved it. By doing that, but through prayer, etc., this is how it helped me. Then, it will create faith in you all also, that Krishna's love, Krishna's way of life, Krishna's caringness, you will have more faith in that. So I do want help to resolve my difficulties, so that the victory over these difficulties, victory over these anarthas can inspire others. So that's my, inspiration to be honest and vulnerable, because I want to work on these things. I don't care about socially how you think of me. I'm concerned more about my spiritual progress, because spiritual progress means we are directly connected to Krishna. So social progress means self-will. We're thinking of our reputation, right? Yeah.
My God, Mataji, whatever you're explaining now is exactly what I was going through in the last probably 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I guess. And I was also, it's the same thing. I know this person is mine, and it's difficult for me to just say, like, and then why to hurt? And then I exactly was feeling the same thing by not expressing. But like the way you said, there is the the feeling inside. Yeah, but when I'm conversating with this person, I'm like, this person is fine. Like the trust on this person goes down, and there's like not I don't know what the deal is about resentment, but then the feeling of this relationship is like, it's not like, what do you call it? Not like I can take it on the face value, right? Like a person saying, I'm not able to take it. Like I feel very like how to and basically it's more of trust. So I just feel it's like once I feel something like that is there, right? It becomes too fake for me, right?
Yeah.
The relationship. And then it's just like I feel so sad. Like, so many things they're doing, and then what for is this person, trying to lie? It just feels very bad. And then I'm so happy to just hear that, the words that you said, and then you taking it to Krishna and saying, I feel this resentment inside, and how do I solve this character defect? I was thinking like, just tolerating another person's, whatever it's there in their character, I'm just tolerating. I was thinking in that way, but then you're expressing it as a character defect in me, because I'm also feeling some resentment or whatever inside. So that I should not even be feeling like that, right? So that's so beautiful. You brought that out, So thank you so much. Beautiful.
Yeah, it used to be my pride. Before, I used to think I'm so understanding, I'm so forgiving, and I'm so nice, I don't hurt people. It used to be my pride. And then I figured out that it's actually my anartha. I mean, there are some people that it never forms into a resentment. See, there are 4 types of people, okay? 1, those who see through their CRAP, see through the CRAP of people, their lies, their manipulation, their anarthas, right? We see through them, and then we say it. I mean, that's not my category, but they say it. They see through the nonsense of people, and they say it in an effective manner. My grandmother, I'm just thinking, she does that. You cannot trick her. You cannot fool her. Not even 1 second. She's sharp. She'll immediately prick you if you do anything. With me, she'll always ask me, what kind of Bhagavatam classes and Bhagavad Gita classes you give if you don't know the name of this Maharaj or something. She will immediately attack me. That's her personality type. She's a type 8. So then there are the next category of people who see it, but don't say it. That's me and Tarani Radha category. We're clever. We catch them. We see through their intentions. We see that they're lying. We see that they're manipulating. But we stand there. I don't know what codependent reasons we have in our minds. We may justify saying we are nice people, we don't want to hurt. We may justify saying it's not the right time. We may justify saying, I'm not sure if it's my mind or they are really doing this. We may justify that they may have a reason why they're doing this, all sorts of CRAP of our own. And then the third category of people, they don't see it, they don't say it, meaning they're not affected by these things. It kind of, I'm thinking of my husband, he's a little bit like that. He will take, if somebody says, oh, they will say a lie or something, he'll say, oh, maybe it is true. I was busy in my thing. Maybe it is true that for 10 days it didn't come. He always kind of gives the benefit of the doubt and he doesn't see it and he doesn't say. And then there are the people who don't see, but say, okay, don't get me wrong. What I mean by that is people who see things, but they're not as smart as the first or the second category. They don't, or the third category is like saint category or monk category, the fool category, I call it. The fool doesn't necessarily mean bad. In the tarot cards, fool is a very important card of wisdom as well. So fool means that they don't give importance to this either, or they are really idiots. Both categories could belong in that. Like, and then the fourth category is like, they actually see something, but they actually don't see what it is. And they create problem based on something else in their mind. In other words, like, I mean, I know somebody in my family who's like that. They don't get exactly what's going on, but then they create problems to the other person. But we should be the fifth category. What we should be is, regardless of whether in the first category or second or third or fourth, we should act according to the Lord's will and be ready to recognize our character defects. We should be ready to recognize our character defects, to see our side of the road, to check our side of the road and get our side of the road cleaned, because that's the hardest thing to do. So I'm making a sankalpa with you all that I really want to work on I have this problem. To be straightforward is my problem. I struggle to be straightforward because of all sorts of excuses. I want to work on being straightforward, but in a way that doesn't hurt others. So Taruni, Radha and me will team up and we'll form a club of people who will work on our straightforwardness, assertiveness, to express our needs. Because,
yeah, this is the point. This is the point, Mataji. Like, Brahmana is Brahmana's one of the main characteristic is Saralata. Saralata is like a straightforwardness. But then he's also tolerant, right? And he doesn't want to hurt the other person. Correct.
Right.
So all these things factor up when I experience something like that, right? It's just like, you're trying to just be tolerant, and then why to criticize and why to poke and hurt? You just understand that this person is like this, and then I just like kind of withdraw, like, I don't know, withdraw in the sense like it's difficult to have a very trustworthy kind of a relationship with this person, because it's unnecessary. Even for something which there is no need to even lie, and still this person is projecting. There's no need, and still it's happening. Then I realize that's where the thing is. I see it, but then to be straightforward, I mean, and even being straightforward, it's like not all the cases you have to just say it on their face the way it is, because that's not recommended, right? It's not recommended. You got to be, your words should be very effective and beneficial to the other person, and also very sweet, correct? We cannot speak, even if it's the truth, we cannot speak it harshly because it'll hurt the person. That's one of those qualities of speech in Bhagavad Gita, correct? So that always runs in my mind. So that's why I keep quiet. Like, why should you be harsh and hurt the other person? So,
see, I'm remembering Vidura. I mean, he was super Brahmanical, but look at how he spoke to Dhritarashtra. And at the same time, we have to look at our role. We have to look at minding our own business also, meaning looking at our anarthas also. Meaning we shouldn't give excuses to our anarthas saying I'm following Krishna's instruction. Maybe, I mean, in my case, I'm saying sometimes I just don't have the guts to call out on people and say you're lying, you're manipulating, you know. I don't have the guts to say that because I'm afraid. At the same time, we should be balanced. The point is this, Taruni, I don't know, you seem more sattvic than I am, but like, is there resentment after that? So we can adjust and tune our actions based on the resentment. If we are not forming resentment, if we are not influenced by fear, if we're not doing it out of selfishness, we're not doing it with dishonesty, then it's fine. But if any of those four are present, it means that it's unfavorable for our devotional life. So if I'm like this the other day, I mean, very frankly, first of all, there was dishonesty. I was nodding my head. Oh, I see. I hope everything gets settled. And this person was straight lying to my face. And I was being a saint. Oh, I hope everything gets settled. And I was thinking what my grandmother would say is, oh, really? So basically this, your thing is in prison or what? She would just challenge the life out of people, you know. And then I was dishonest. It's just dishonest, nodding my head to something nonsense. Second, I was afraid. I was afraid of losing connection with this person. And I'm thinking, do I even want a close connection with this person who's like lying all the time? This is not the first time, by the way. Huh? It has happened several times. This is, yeah. Then the third thing was selfishness. Of course, there was selfishness. I wanted to appear to be like a nice person and all, but actually I was being selfish because I could see through their nonsense and I was not. And then resentment, oh yeah, plenty. So it was it was not Bhagavad Gita in action. I'm sorry. I'm telling myself like it was not Bhagavad Gita in action, my dear. It was your anarthas. You're acting out. You're playing God here, trying to. So, Taruni, we have to look at our intentions with these four things: resentment, dishonesty, fear, and selfishness. Pretender, yeah. I was totally pretender. I mean, sometimes we may have to be diplomatic, but there's a big difference between being diplomatic and pretending. There's a huge difference. I have to learn to sometimes maybe walk away from situations like that. Sometimes you have to live around people like this. I am sad because this person is older to me and they're still stuck in this little things. It's sad actually. And I see, I've been so honest with you all, telling that I was doing all that dishonesty, fear, selfishness, and everything. It's a weakness. I need to work on it. It's a character defect. So as long as we are aware that it's a character defect, Taruni, and we are working on it, we don't have to be perfect. It's okay. Even if, okay, for today I had all four, and next month I may have 3. The other month I may have only fear. But as long as I know, and I'm not justifying that I'm doing right, but I know that this is my character defect, you're working on it, you're a work in progress, you have to accept, then it's safe.
Got it. Definitely this character defect in mind, for sure. After hearing yours, I'm able to analyze myself. Till that time, till you're speaking at all these, the way you're explaining everything, I was unable to see it. So now I'm able to see it. Mataji, I would like to just hear, what do you mean the sense? You said like, is there resentment like that, right? So what does it mean? Like you're having ill feelings or like you're feeling very let down that, you know, that this person is also like this, like that you feel like, you know, in the world, everybody is like that. Very difficult to find something who's really honest all the time like that, right? So I feel like maybe, you know, the world like that, this person is also like that. So I feel like also let down like that, you know, this person is also like that. So that is resentment, is it?
See, resentment, as the word suggests, it's like reliving something, and essentially, okay, and you can usually resentment has anger, but not necessarily anger. Resentment is usually like you thinking, oh, why did they say like that? Why did they treat me like that? Who do they think they are? When after it's past, we're still thinking about it, essentially like ruminating over it. That's resentment. Resentment is something that you're replaying something that happened over and over again. And even subconsciously, you may not play it consciously, but it affects your subconscious mind. We haven't let go of it. I mean, like if I would act in anger, or if I try to imitate my grandmother and say to the person, you're lying or something, then I would feel bad and I would feel resentment towards myself later. Right? I think Taruni can relate to that.
Yeah, that's so true. So basically, so we are not supposed to feel resentment. So what's the opposite of that? If it happens, you think about it and you just let go of it and let go of it, like you say. Or what should be the antidote for this?
We hand it over to Krishna. It's not that we should not feel resentment. The point is, resentment can be a block for our spiritual advancement. So we hand it over to Krishna.
So just hand it over to Krishna. So that's the solution for resentment. That's right.
Say that again.
So antidote for resentment is like you say that this is what happened and you're handing over that feeling, that emotion to Krishna. So that's the end of it. Is that the way it is?
Yeah, also it's awareness, and it's the acknowledgement of what is the root. The root is always selfishness. Yeah, selfishness is often there when there is resentment. There is selfishness. So we go to that root, and then selfishness is what? It's thinking about ourselves. So we forgive the person, we pray for the person. That's what some of the highly, highly sattvic remedies are about that. We go, Gunadamat Anukroshan. We see this person is less than us and we pray for them. We show compassion. Pray for them.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We pray for that person also. May this person find more dignity, may this person find peace so that they don't have to live like this. Also. And Krishna, please remove resentment from my heart. That is our first prayer. You can be selfish there. First pray for yourself.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. So beautiful. I never knew this existed. So it's just like, I'm feeling like that enlightenment kind of thing happening right now. Thank you so much.
I know. We are in this together. You're not alone. We'll keep reminding each other. And it's called codependency, if you want like a modern term to this disease or this addiction. It's to try to be somewhat, we are smart, but we want to look dumb because we don't want to hurt people. And we have a hidden motivation that they will respect us, but they don't. And we struggle and suffer. That's called codependency. We need to become, how do you say, independence. We need independence from them. Okay, ladies. I've got my Russian crew coming today for the program. I'm taking leave, and see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.